What's going on, everybody? Jared Fatty Bates here for another special episode of the 216 Show. I have a special guest today. You hear him every morning on 92.3 The Fan. You see him on Fox 8 News. He is everywhere. Let's welcome in Ken Carman from the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. What's going on, Ken?
Hi, everybody. Or hi. Well, I is this recorded or how is this live right now?
This is recorded. I set it out to go live later, so that way
it's
easier for everybody to get on.
Second. Okay, good. Sorry. Hi.
All right. So I told you I had a very special surprise for you.
Okay.
All right. One of my friends texted me and said, "Hey, I need to ask Ken a couple questions. So let me welcome in from the MLB Guards cast and part of Network 216, Mr. Brian Shaw."
Oh my God. Hi.
Good morning, Ken.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So,
just a quick question.
What? No, wait a minute. Do they know how we know each other?
Okay.
Other than just working with each other?
I don't think so. Probably not.
I gotta tell everybody. So Brian is married to a friend of mine
go
from high school. Her name is Adria. She's wonderful, and Brian is wonderful. And I knew Brian. I got linked up with Brian when you were in Louisville or Buffalo. Was it? It was Buffalo, Louisville, Cleveland.
Probably
right?
as early as Buffalo.
Yeah. So it was as early as Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo, Louisville, Cleveland.
Exactly. So Buffalo, Louisville, Cleveland, and then you guys are back in Cleveland. And he's married to my friend Adria now. Well, he's been married to my friend Adria a long time. It's good to see you, friend. This is wonderful.
You too. Just good morning, and I'm glad you had a nice trip, because that's my question. Did they show the Guardians playoffs in Florida?
Yes, they have cable. There's a lot of times where I was worried because, like if you go on like a cruise or something, like they don't like you'll like go to tune in and like it depends on your cruise line. Like we went to Royal Caribbean, and I think they had just about everything. Because I remember watching the Talladega race years ago when we were on Royal Caribbean. But like Princess, maybe it was Carnival where I saw that. But there's a lot of them. They just have like it's like Sport 1, 2, 3, and it's like cricket or like rugby. And so a lot of people think when they go there, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to see. They had everything. They just have it on their weird cable system. So it's like, instead of like WESH 2, which is the NBC affiliate down there, it just says NBC. And so, but it's like NBC. So I like local news, like watching local news. Like this goes all the way back to when I was doing play-by-play and stuff. Like I always had to wake up early and watch local news, even though it was up late the night before. So that took a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, short story long, they did show the games. They showed my buddy Brett, he like couldn't find it, and the reason what was happening, he gave up on it because there were a couple of times where it would black out, like you would still hear Sean McDonough, but you wouldn't see it, and then it would click back on, and then you're watching. But yeah, I got to see the games. Game 2 was exciting. We were in a lobby. The bar was actually packed, but it was like not with fans. It was just people, just like whatever. Because I remember Game 2 was a really hot day there. So there was a lot of people like in the bar. We stayed at a place called the Polynesian, and it was nice. And they had a bar that was just packed. And so we sat in the lobby and we're walking up. And so we were just trying to keep an eye on the game while we were sitting in the lobby, because you could kind of sort of see it from a ways, but it was still, and we tried to turn the TV on. That worked for a minute. And then they needed the TV for some thing at the end. So I got to see it at the end, but at that time, it was 6-1 us. So it was out of hand then. And so, yeah, on the way back, the game started, Game 3, and things went our way until they didn't go our way. So, yeah, got to see him though.
Well, I'm glad you had fun. Tell Liz happy 40th for me. And we're actually celebrating Adria's 40th today.
Oh my goodness. Well, happy birthday to Adria.
Yeah, we're all getting old. So shoot her a text or something.
Hell yeah, man.
All right. Well, I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
All right, Brian. It's good to see you, brother. You take care.
You too. Later, Jared.
See you, Brian.
It's good to see him. No, it was his wife, wonderful lady. I mean, always, they were the whole family cool from way back. Great people from way back. So it was really cool to see that she's married to him, because it's like, media guys, like a lot of weather guys, they're sports guys. Like Brian is definitely a lot of weather guys end up being really big baseball fans. I think the math, the science, and everything like that. Brian's a big baseball fan. So it was nice to see, like, oh my God, not only is like this guy a Cleveland fan, but he's also, I think at the time he was dating Adria. And I still don't even know, like, they probably told me and I forgot how they met, because it's like really a small world when you think about it. But it's nice to see them, and it's nice to see her celebrating her 40th. That's nice. So I'm gonna have to wish a happy birthday on her Facebook.
Yeah, he joined the Network 216 probably a few months. I think it was around All-Star break. Him and Mike Voorhees joined the 216 to do guards ball for us here on the 216. So cool. I love him. He cracks me up. We text all the time. What a great guy.
He's a nice guy. Really nice guy.
All right, bud. You ready to sit down in the 216 hot seat and have some fun?
Yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
All right. So first off, bud, I got to ask you, because I'm a father and a husband too. As a father and husband, how do you juggle all the things you have to do with your job and everything else? How do you juggle family life with work life? How does that work for you?
No, it's very it's a cliche answer, but it's a true answer. My wife takes care of basically everything. Why isn't this charging? My wife takes care of everything because she's got the 3 boys at home. So I'm able to kind of. I used to say back in the day, like people go, oh, and I go, well, they're just toys to me, which is a line that all I get to do is play with them. She has to actually like go out and raise them. I'm the one who has to deal with the discipline if they step out of line, but thankfully they're all good boys. Everybody thinks their kids are good boys, but they're good boys. She's done a wonderful job in just making sure everything is taken care of at the house and making sure I can do what I need to do. So, we're blessed in that sense. Which at the same time, I do feel a great sense of responsibility to the boys and to her with the family and just trying to do what's necessary to keep it going. Because I look at this a lot like we do with sports careers. I don't know if I will be 60 and still doing this. So I need to make sure that I'm doing everything I can while the phone rings. And then when the phone stops ringing, be ready to find my other life's work after this. So I try to keep a sense of what's important and trying to have fun with the boys while I can't have fun with the boys, because all 3 are different. All 3 are really different. Axel, my oldest, is really into sports, really into football. I try not to, because I'm a football guy and we kind of make a joke about it on the air. Mm-hmm. I try not to push him too hard because I come from a football area. And there's a lot of dads who they kind of push their sons to it. And by the time they got to high school, they didn't really want to do it anymore. So I'm really sensitive towards pushing him to something that he might grow out of at some point. But he's really into sports. So we have a lot to share. My middle one is really into trains and monster trucks and things like that. So he's different. And then Jonah is 6 and watches BBC News and watches Fox News and watches MSNBC, and for some reason he just clicks into that. He watched the Peppa Pig and the usual stuff, but like when he saw me on the news, he will just click into. Now he just tries to find news networks. So there's a lot of Spectrum News and things like that he'll watch, and because when you click on we have Spectrum cable, so we click into Spectrum News 1 right there. Mm-hmm. So he'll watch that. But then, like, he'll just turn on, like, he knows what numbers to press and put on BBC News and things like that. And he's got opinions, man. He's got opinions. He's got stuff on the war in Ukraine. He's a different one. Like it's what was it? Was it Alex P. Keaton, the kid with the tie, or which one? Yes. He's kind of going that. He's kind of going that way in so many ways. So it's a little interesting to see and kind of knows all the capitals and all that stuff, and kind of it's a little odd. It's almost become a bit of a parlor trick for our friends. Like we'll go, hey, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the situation in Crimea? And he'll kind of have a little thought, and then just kind of go along playing with his buddies and things like this. And then they'll come back. We'll be like with our neighbors, because our neighbors have 4 sons. We have 3 sons, and like they'll have big family get-togethers, and we're all over there because we're all close. We're blessed to be in a pretty nice enough neighborhood where people are just so friendly with each other, and we got a lot of young kids that are in the neighborhood, and they're all about the same age. And even the ones who are older are really good with the kids, so they kind of look after them every now and then. And we'll just be sitting there, and what's the capital of Brazil? What's the capital of this? Tell us the situation. He will start to talk about. He brought up Russian dynasties once, which I don't know why that was brought up. I don't know what he was watching before. So yeah, he's got a pretty firm grasp of current events and history. So he's my really interesting one there. I like to observe him and see where he's going.
That's amazing. Like, hey, political Carman coming soon.
Well, it's weird because like I was a goofball like any other kid, and I mean, I don't think I was bad, but I wasn't the world's best. And he is in a rarefied air for me because I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. So it's just fun to observe him and watch him kind of see things and what he takes in and what he doesn't take in, and having his own opinions on issues that probably 6-year-olds shouldn't have opinions on, but still.
Not close. All right, but you just celebrated your wife's 40th birthday in the wonderful magical kingdom. What's your favorite thing at Disney?
I enjoy it. So there's two things. I really, really, really love history. So that's maybe that's kind of why I'm really interested in Jonah's thoughts on Russian dynasties. But I really like history. And I just find that the Magic Kingdom is cool. Like, there's a lot of guys like, go Magic Kingdom. They don't booze there, things like that. Like, hey man, like there's plenty of places outside there I can booze. There ain't no big deal. Like I go around with a drink as much as anybody. But I have a really good time in the Magic Kingdom, just kind of seeing the old stuff because there's a lot of cool old things. I mean, they got some new things and stuff like that, but like I finally got to see the Hall of Presidents. I never got to see. So we've been 3 times now. And I'm not like, my wife is definitely a Disney adult. 100% loves Disney. Did the college program when she was in college. Worked at I think she worked at the Boardwalk back in the day and ran that, whatever they let college kids do as far as front desk and stuff like that. So she loves it. And, I got to finally see the Hall of Presidents, which was just amazing to me. I like the Carousel of Progress. I think the robotics are really cool in it, and some of the stuff and some of the things that kind of show of yesteryear. Small town, the Main Street USA thing that they have there, I really enjoy that. I didn't get to see Mickey at all. I did not see Mickey once this time, which was odd because usually he pops around. Usually he pops around somewhere or there's a parade going on, but we were there really early in the morning a few we went for 3 days. We were there for 4 days. We went to the park 3 days because we got there on Monday afternoon. And we went pretty early each day because we were early risers. And it was me, my wife, and our 2 friends who set us up. They're the godparents of our children. And we got to see that. Just the castle's always cool. It's always cool to see that for the first time. And then my other favorite thing is the World Showcase at Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
The World Showcase at Epcot, I always think is just really, really neat to kind of go in and see all the stuff. But I will tell you, like, we did way more walking. So we took the kids a few years ago, and then we took the kids in February. And Liz kind of slapped this trip together for her birthday. And we did way more walking on this one because you're just with adults.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids give you a break because they get tired. And it's like, all right, we're going to go back to, like, we rented a house the first year. Then we stayed at a resort early in February. And they kind of give you a break because it's either hot or they're walking around or something. So you like kind of go back to the room and then you can go back out later if you really want to, or, whatever. It was just because it was 3 days, it was nonstop. So like there were like, I think my wife had a thing on her iWatch was like 25,000 steps for that day. There was a lot. I'm like, man, I'm really sore at the end of this one. It was way more than I thought it was going to be, but it was fun. I'm glad she had a good time. You know, I thought I would go. I when I was a kid, Jared, I never wanted to go. I was never interested. I remember my dad asked me, and I was like, "Nah, I'm really fine with it." And he's like, "All right, like, okay." And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't care. But I know that she really likes it, and it's her 40th birthday, so you know we're gonna do that. And I mean, I could have worse 40th birthday celebrations for my wife. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have fun. I think we're going on another vacation with our neighbors coming up in May, but I don't think that's Disney, but I really don't think it is. I'm not sure, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I
because
have no idea.
when we went, was right when COVID happened.
Oh God.
So they shut down Disney, and we had tickets, plane tickets, everything, and we were like, okay, what do we do now? So we had to pivot. We went back that October when they opened everything back up. But it was not the normal Disney experience. Like we were 6 feet away from people, had to wear masks in the park. And hey, when we went in October, you'd think it'd be a little bit cooler. Hottest week ever there. It was like 98 every day. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't get the true super Disney experience, but kids had a blast. We did three of the parks. So, you know, at the time it was for them more than anything else. So
which one did you miss?
We didn't do Epcot, obviously, but we did Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and what was the third one? The movie. It had the Toy Story ride.
Hollywood,
yes.
Hollywood. Yeah.
So that's the ones that we did, and we stayed there at the Decades Resort. Can't remember. They had like the 50s, 60s themes.
Okay.
So we were stayed at that themed resort, and it was actually really nice. I mean, the thing was though, you had, you know, like I said, you had to order your food outside on your app before you went in to get your food.
Man.
Like, it was crazy. So that's why I had to ask about Disney.
Oh God, did you get to see any of the Star Wars stuff when you went to Hollywood?
No, we did not. They were still. We did the Avatar stuff, which was awesome. Okay. The Flight of the Avatar and all that stuff. Which that was fun. So they didn't have all the Star Wars stuff ready when we got down there.
Okay.
So
because my oldest Axel's obsessed with it, and because he asked me these questions, I'm like, man, I've only seen it like once each, which I didn't even get to see him until a few years ago. My old producer Kenny would give me hell over it, but I was like, well, I don't have anything against Star Wars. I'm not making fun of anybody for Star Wars. I just never saw it, and so I saw it. And I'm like, all right, I get why people like this movie now. But he's obsessed with it. They have this thing like they have like a Millennium Falcon ride. And I mean, I almost got sick on the ride because it's like, because you're in a lot of stuff, you know, is like, there's a lot of rides that aren't rides. Like it's not a roller coaster. It's just stuff going on the screens around you. And, you know, they shake you around. And that's what it was. I'm like, I had to look down. Like my sons were having a blast. My wife was having a blast. And I was just like, oh, this is not going to end well. And I got off that ride. I go, man, this is rough. This is real rough. And then when we went this year, just this week, when we went to the Magic Kingdom, my buddy's wife was like, I want to ride the teacups. And I remembered last time I was like, I don't think I'm going to do well with the teacups because they spin like crazy. And my buddy and I are sitting in the teacup, and my buddy starts wheeling on the thing, and I'm going, and they got video of me screaming. I'm like, Brad, I want to get sick. I gotta get sick, because it was just like around as hard as he possibly could. I'm trying to grab his hands, like, give me your hands, you bastard. This is terrible. It was awful. It was so awful. I was almost out of commission the rest of the day. Sorry, but yeah, I wish it was more open for you, and I wish you would have got to see that, because there's a lot of cool stuff even there. Like, even if the person isn't hardcore into Star Wars, but I was talking to some people. They're like, no, there's people who come here, they go to Hollywood Studios and they go to Star Wars and they stay in the Star Wars thing, and that's it. They don't care about, you know, the Avatar, which they still have. They don't care about Toy Story stuff. They go and they stay there all day. They just end up staying there. So it's
wild. I almost did the same thing you did with the Flight of Avatar with that, you know, 4D, especially when you go over to the cliff the first time, because I'm sitting there like, now you're going to experience some things. I'm like, dude, I'm terrified of heights. Like, I'm not like a little bit terrified of heights. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we at here? Because I do not want to freak out in front of my kids. And as soon as they kicked us over the edge, I'm like, no. So, like, yeah, that was no fun for me.
I did.
Now, Now, I wish I could play the power ranking songs, but I don't have them here on my computer for you. But we're going to do some rankings as Cleveland. You know, you're a fan
Okay.
of all Cleveland sports. How would you rank your fandom of Cleveland sports here?
Oh God. Well, probably Cavs, Browns, Guardians. I would say
Okay.
all together, which surprises a lot of people. I always liked the Cavs because I always felt like they were kind of like a forgotten child at times before LeBron got here. Like younger guys don't understand how I could ever say that. I'm like, guys, before LeBron got here, they were definitely a distant third as far as the other teams. I remember Roadman. He would like when I was a kid, I grew up listening to Roadman. Roadman was like scaring people, like guys, if you don't come out and support this team, they can move. Like it was like they used to have a thing called McFamily Night and stuff like that. Like now, it's hard to find a ticket, and they do a hell of a job over there too, just trying to give fans a fun experience. I think all three teams try to do a good enough job. I mean, the NFL has its restrictions. I do think the Browns, even though the product on the field isn't that good, they try with some of the fun stuff. I've been able to see some of the things that fans have interacted with, and that's been fun. But the Guardians and Cavs, they really, because it's an everyday thing, they do try to put on a good show. It's just the weird thing is that the Cavs have the right mix of where they can spend money on the roster and they can offer up a good show on the floor, or outside of just what's on the floor, which is always a lot of fun there. But yeah, my fandom has probably always been Cavs, Browns, Guardians. It just a little bit down the line. But I always like to keep them close because they're all fine. They're all fine teams that I enjoy, which is a terrible answer to give. But yeah, they're all fine. Yeah, they're all fine teams. There's great teams. They're all great teams. Wonderful, wonderful people.
Yeah, they're just all great. They're okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all wonderful.
All right, here we go. As your favorite players all time for each team.
Oh, living or dead?
Doesn't matter. Your favorite players all time.
Okay, favorite player. Well. Okay, so they're all.
Do I need to check
No. They're all. I'm just trying to think because the names that come to my mind, and I'm going. Well, I don't want to leave anybody out. Favorite players from all teams: Bernie. Before that, I would have to say, I enjoy. This is going to be a weird answer. Gene Hickerson, who's passed, because I used to know a woman in college who took care of him at the old folks home before he passed. And the type of sense of humor that I knew that Gene Hickerson had, and Doug has shared some of those jokes. So I'm like, all right, Gene Hickerson, that guy was a dude. I enjoyed Gene Hickerson of all things. So you wouldn't think a guard, who ended up making the Hall of Fame later on, but yeah, I enjoy him. Bernie, definitely favorite Cleveland Brown. Favorite Cleveland Indian / Guardian is Albert Bell. I have a mountain of respect. I don't like to put guys who are currently playing because I'm an adult in it, but like I have a mountain of respect, obviously, for Jose Ramirez. I think Jose Ramirez is maybe my most respected Cleveland athlete for what he's done. And then when it comes to the Cavs, Larry Nance Sr. is in there, and I really liked Andre Miller when I was younger.
Okay.
And those were some kind of not so great teams that he ended up with. And then he ended up getting traded, and I was upset that he got traded. But I was a big Andre Miller guy when I was a kid, yeah.
All right. One person in sports that you have not met that you would love to.
I think that fluctuates from time to time. Like, I'd like to meet Nick Saban, but I want to know Nick Saban. I don't want the nice to meet you, and that's it. Like, I want to hear Nick Saban.
Okay.
Which is odd. Like John Gruden, if I meet John Gruden, I think I'm going to get the full John Gruden experience. You know what I mean?
Like
but
the Frank Caliendo, John Gruden?
Yeah. Like, I think I'm going to get the full thing, and he's going to go, this is what I think about this. Like, he's going to do it. Like with Nick Saban, there is like the thing is with like those coaches, there tends to be like 1,000-yard stare they give. And I've always heard like Saban will give you the 1,000-yard stare where it's like, hello, nice to see you. But he's already focused on something else. So if I meet any of them, I really want to hear about what, their story. And I want to be able to open them up. Dale Earnhardt Jr. definitely is in that mix. One of the top guys, except I'm actually afraid to meet him because I'm such a fan of his late father, and I was such a fan of his late father, and my family was, that I think I might be off-putting to him, so I might be nervous to do that, to ever meet Dale Earnhardt Jr. And then the other ones, I'd like to understand, this is going to be a weird one, I'd like to understand where Jerry Jones, what he thinks. And I think like the unvarnished stuff, because I saw the documentary. I saw most of the documentary. I haven't made it through the whole documentary yet, but I want to see the unvarnished part of him, not what's on for it. I want to know why he thinks the way he's thought for a long period of time, good, bad, ugly, whatever. Like when I talk about meeting people, I know that he's notorious for a lot of folks, but he's done a lot of things for the NFL that's made the NFL a better business. I don't know if it's a better place or a better product or anything like that, but it's certainly made it a better business. And considering the risks that he's taken to do that, I'd like to know what it takes to be able to do something like that. So I prefer interest instead of, what story can they tell? And I think that, my co-host Anthony and I, we've always felt that way. Like even controversial figures, people who have been, canceled, whatever. I'd like to hear from them and see where they're, even if I don't like them, even if I don't like them personally, or, you think that they're goofs or whatever, that these are still people that I'd like to hear their side of things on whatever side they are, just to see whether or not there's any common ground I can find whatsoever.
All right. If you could interview anybody, past or present, dead or alive, who would you want to interview?
Art Modell.
No.
I want, because I might start screaming at him, but
is that just to scream at him?
Yeah, I'd want to interview Art Modell. There's a lot of things I like to tell him, but he's a guy that I think I want to understand why on earth you'd make such a decision, and I'd want to know, because there's always there's this, every time we talk about him, there's this weird thing of, there will be people getting and go, there's two sides and Michael White and things like that. I mean, guys, I'm not a big fan of Mike White either. Like, I'm not, I was here during that time. And Joan, I'm doing an interview, buddy. Go on. Take that trash upstairs, please. Yes, thank you. So I want to know. There's a lot of things I want to know about, man. There's a lot of things I want to know. What led you to letting go of Paul Brown? What led you to letting go of Bill Belichick after you moved? Those type of things. Why would you do that? Did you ever consider selling the team? Was there ever a consideration of selling the team? What did you ever do? And I know that I've heard the story secondhand, but I want to know that. There's a lot of people. I'd like to hear. I wish I could know Paul Brown and interview Paul Brown, and what led to that, because these are, Paul Brown is seen as a superhero in so many ways, and he was an innovator and a great man in so many ways, but there was also obviously a lot of ego that played into things. And hearing Jim Brown talk about that, I'd like to know more. There's so many guys from that type of history here in Cleveland that I'd like to know more of. I'd like to hear from Vernon Stouffer, and I'd like to hear from Dick Jacobs, and the contrast of ownership and what it was. I'd like to hear. Nick Maletti just passed. I would like to hear from him. Those are interviews that I would love to, people I'd like to talk to and just ask, pick their brain on things. But I know that these are weird. These are really off the wall answers, I'm sure. But yeah, that's the way I feel about it. Because there's so much untapped potential. I think that I don't get all the way from books, and like, I really love Terry Pluto, and I just want more. He's given us a ton with his books, but I just want so much more.
Yes, and I get that. Honestly, that's why I kind of started this show, is to get to know Cleveland better, because I'm a transplant, but my family's here, which we'll get into that.
Where are you
I
from?
grew up in Coshocton, Ohio.
That's right. So that's because I was with you before, right? And we talked about that. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going down that area coming up in December. I can't really say publicly why. I think people can figure it out after. Usually it's the week after Thanksgiving.
I know who you're going with, and he is one of my friends, and he
asked
me if I wanted to go. Good. And I was like, He goes, I hope he doesn't forget. He goes, because I'm all for it right now. And I was like, yeah, so you're heading down to Tuscarawas County, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
right there at the southern tip. Which I'm from Stark County, so it ain't that big of
Yeah.
a deal. But yeah, I texted him last week because I'm more. I do it more in a gentlemanly fashion, I guess,
I understand.
because we're just so balls out busy. And then my buddy, who I usually go with, he uses all his vacation time on fishing. Like
Mhm.
he's in bass tournaments, and I mean it's like 1,500 to enter and 10,000 to win or something crazy like that. I mean, just real high stakes stuff. And I'm just like, man, I can't. You've invested. He's got his bass boat. He's got all that stuff. I go, I can't get mad at him. He's invested a lot in that. That's his vacation time. But at the same time, like I'd like to get out there and actually go see it. And I got to tell you, I didn't realize how stingy a lot of people are with their land. That was something I've learned here, Jared, in the last decade. I had no idea. There were so many people who I cannot tell you who were just like, because there's a lot of things like I like to bring people together and I like to see if like things can happen. And, you know, like, hey, can we get this person on the sidelines here? Can we do this here? This, then, you know, I owe you. That type of thing. And I figured, and I maybe I didn't figure, but I figured it was just going to be a hell of a lot easier. I figured it would be kind of more like that. And there were so many people like, yeah, come on down, come on out. And the second the leaves start to fall, they just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to hear that. Well, you know, actually, it's this. And, well, you know, it's not my land. It's his uncle's land. And he's kind of weird about new people walking it and stuff like that. And I go, guys, I just started doing this like a decade ago. And I barely get to do it. I barely get. The 1 year I was sick as a damn dog the week after. I couldn't go. go. And it's and I know guys like they take off. Like I got buddies in streets where they go up to Canada for dove season and things like that. And so like they take it seriously. And I'm just like, man, I got the time for it. I got the time. I someday maybe I will, but right now I don't. And finally I found somebody, and I like even when he offered, I'm going, okay, we'll see. I'm not.
Oh no, he's.
Yeah, I'm like, don't blame me. Don't get upset with me, brother. But I'm just not gonna get my hopes up right now because I've been burned so many times before.
He's waiting for that phone call. And when you get down there, ask him to take you to the yard in Denison, Ohio.
Okay.
That's
where Woody Hayes is from?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's from. No, I thought Woody's from Newcomerstown.
Newcomerstown. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, there's a restaurant down there called the Denison Yard.
Okay.
And they have and you'll love it as a history buff. They have the first high school national championship banner, everything in there. They have all this high school memorabilia from the Denison national champions of the U.S. champs.
Yeah,
crazy. But the food there is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I will check. I will text him. I will check that out. I'll write that down right now.
Let's get back on track now.
Yeah, sorry. I tend to take things way off.
No,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's our. Hey, I told you 30 minutes. You know this is going to be longer now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I made it longer. I'm talking your off about Art Modell and God knows who.
No, you're all right. Who's your favorite media personality here in Cleveland besides Tony and Brian?
How am I supposed to answer that?
Come on, give me an answer.
They've all been so nice to me. Guys who are older, Les was amazing to Anthony and I. Just a really, really, really great guy. John Telich has been such a help. It was, it was his words that really helped. I didn't stump to get the job at 8. But it was his blessing that opened that door up because he's such a stand-up, wonderful man. But God, asking me to pick my favorite one is like asking me to pick my favorite son. I always make jokes. I'm like, yeah, it's Eli. Like I always make oh, you asked me to pick my favorite son. Eli's my favorite son. I'm just kidding. I think guys who are older than me, there's been some really helpful guys along the way that have taken care of me, guys that people don't even listen to, that aren't like on air.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to it's really hard for me to pick those guys. As far as like guys my age, I'll tell you, I love Earl. I love Earl. God, I love Earl. I think that Jake Volnick, I like that Jake keeps the show moving. He doesn't bog it down as much as I did. I thought that was a mistake. And we had a lot of listeners at that time because I did the night show when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a tough show. He's doing 4 hours. I used to have to do 5, which was some nights in the middle of summer was rough. But, Jake just keeps that show moving along. I think he does. I think he's off to a good start there. But, man, I love Earl. He's got a laid back type of a thought to him. I think that he is. When I talk to young guys about this, what worries me is, and I'll try to be quick with my answers here, but what worries me is that they don't have enough life experience. Before I did this, like there's a lot, I was able to pack in a lot of life to a short amount of time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a married man when I first got the job at the Fan. Okay. I was doing the night show, just got married. I worked. It was like wine and dine with kings and queens and alleys with pork and beans. Like I was with prison release guys at the Stone plant I worked at. So and there was like guys on early release, and there were some dangerous dudes, and there were some fun dudes, and there were some dudes like I got to understand what drugs can do to somebody and how like what the system really does. And I also, in the same week, got to interview LeBron James and Tiger Woods because LeBron's movie was coming out the same time Bridgestone was there. So there was a lot of mix. I got to go to college, but I got to go to college locally. And I got to see, my dad is a working class man. My mom was the same way. My dad is from would be the northeast end of Canton, which can be a little rough, and we would go there. So I've seen some stuff, and what I tell people, what my big fear is like, hey man, I don't think fans care about, I don't think listeners care as much about what you can regurgitate as far as stats and things like that, and showing off about what we know about cover 2 in certain situations. I think it's relatability, and how can you relate with somebody, and I say to them, like, how do you relate with the guy? Like, you can use all the big words you want, but there's a guy either going to or coming home from work, and he's on 480, and he just wants to be entertained. Okay. And he don't care about being impressed. He cares about being entertained. That's the difference. Can you be entertaining? Can you have a conversation with somebody? And what I like so much about Earl's lived a life.
Mm-hmm.
Earl's seen it on both ends. And so I respect that. There's guys who, I like the guys who kind of come up the hard way. It's and nothing against Jake. Jake's a young guy. I'm sure Jake's done some living, and I haven't got to know him yet. But like when I look at some of the guys who I'm close to, when it comes to like media, Earl has had real jobs. Earl's had to do real work before turning on a microphone. Emmett Golden. Emmett's had to do real ass work and had to start out as a part-timer and had to go to minor league games. And I saw Emmett at minor league games, and I was doing games when I was doing play-by-play, just looking for ways in. And so Emmett had to do the things Emmett had to work other jobs. I had to unload trucks. Those guys mean a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to hold it against young guys who, maybe they got a better start. Like Anthony Allant is a kid we had, and he just got a full-time job over at 8 as a producer. And Anthony went to Syracuse and did it the right way, quote unquote. And hopefully that's going to pay off in the end. And hopefully someday he'll be my boss because he's a good guy. But like, I don't want to hold against them, but I think that the audience appreciates not whatever I if they want to use it like, well, you didn't play college ball, you didn't play NFL ball. I think that they just use that in an argument just to get after you, try to get under somebody's skin. I think they care about real life experience and what you've been through, that people are fallible, that people make mistakes, that people appreciate their time. and that people know that, like, hey, like it ain't just a facade, like it's a real thing. Like someday the mics are going to go off, and it's going to be the people that you met along the way that are going to help you that way. And so that when I look at the realness of them, like those are a few guys that I think that, okay, one, I think that he can have a future in. The other two, I think are right there with me in terms of we share something together, and I think that that's why I like them so much.
All right, that's awesome, because I want to get Earl on the show sometime, and I love Earl. I listen to him. I think he's great, and
I love him. I think he's doing a great job over at KYC. He does a great job with us on the weekends. I know that. He is, again, he's got stories and he's got experiences that I think that can relate to a lot of people. And I think that that's what it is. It's not about trying to be something for everybody, because you end up being nothing for anybody, you know, but real people who have lived life and understand that life is not a sitcom. Life is not what certain people think it is, one way or the other. Like there's a lot of things that got to go into it, and I've seen everything, and that's why I have a lot of respect for them. It's why I think, honestly, I have so much respect for Anthony, and I know that Anthony, and I'm talking about Lima here. I think a lot of people, when they first hear Anthony, I think they hear Anthony and they think he's from a privileged background, that he is he thinks very highly of his opinion. Obviously, he should be confident in his opinion. We all think highly of our own opinions, but they obviously think that he's a know-it-all and he knows more than all of us. And he's definitely smart. He's definitely really intelligent, and he's not good at hiding that fact. But he's also been through a lot, and he's seen a lot of life, and he's had to do a lot of things, and he's seen what makes people tick, and that's part of the reason I got so much respect for him, because of that. That's why I get along with those type of people.
Is that why he frustrates the shit out of you when he starts turning stuff on you?
Yeah. Because it's if he were blue blood and his dad ran a business or something like that, you know, I don't know if I get along with him. But there's so many times where we start to talking, and I'm just like, man, you and I, we are not so different, you and I. You know, like just the way we grew up, the skeletons in our family's backgrounds, things like that. There's just a lot of things that I'm just like, man, that story sounds familiar. And I'll start to talk, and he goes, man, I can't believe that. Yeah, that happened to us, like that type of thing. And you end up having a lot more common ground. And then I have a lot more respect for where he is as a person because of what he's been through when he was younger.
All right. Let's get into the next one, because next one, I'm going to cut out a couple here because I don't want to keep you too long, because I feel bad.
No, I took forever answering the first question, so hell, it's my fault.
Okay. How do you remember all the damn high school names? Now, this is just a me question. Every time I hear you, when you're doing the 2-second trivia and somebody calls in, it's from Chardon. It's like, how do you remember all the high schools here in Cleveland?
I'm trying to catch up with Dick Goddard.
Is that what it is?
Because he knew all the high school names. He knew them throughout the state. Now, I know Northeast Ohio. I know a little bit of the West. I know Youngstown that well, but I still count Youngstown as Northeast Ohio, even though they would probably count themselves as part of the Valley, whatever. But like he knew them in places I never even heard of. Like there is this, I would say I know about cities and teams from Toledo, maybe down to Lima, because I did Ashland play-by-play back in the day, and I'd have to drive through that area and stuff. Not Lima, but like west, up to Conneaut, down almost to the Ohio River. But that whole, and then around Cincinnati. But there's like this weird power alley in the state. Looking at it, like if the state was like this, like through there, I don't know. And he knew him. And I only hear about it because the same team goes to the state championship every year. So you only know about the same teams. I don't know about any of the teams they play. It's like, okay, yeah, they'll be back. Yeah, Kirtland's going to play them. They'll be back. Yeah, man, Clear Creek and all the other stuff. Like, you don't know anybody else because they always play the same team, which I know is controversial, but that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, I like it, and especially I like it when Cleveland and Akron and we don't get many Youngstowns, but I like it when Cleveland and Akron calling, because then I get to, like, my buddy's the basketball coach over at Rhodes High School. So I get to say Rhodes Rams and things like that. I got to do a couple of got to go to a couple of Akron City Series games this year. And so it kind of takes me back to being in college. So yeah. But yeah, you just remember them. Some of them, most of them are, you could say Tigers, even if you forget, and you got about
35 Tigers.
Yeah, you got about 50-50 shot of getting it right.
All right. For the Browns, here's a fun question for me. Out of the palette of names that are on the jersey, which one did you think was going to be the guy?
Oh, I thought year one, I thought our situation was totally solved with Baker. I was like, man, there's just not a hole in this guy's. I mean, I know he's 6 feet tall and people want to come up the middle on him. And that is how you get pressure on a lot of guys. You bring people in their face instead of left, right.
Mm-hmm.
You take away the whole field in front of them. I'm holding that noisemaker that Owen got us when we do it.
That's all right.
Sorry, I always like to hold some in my hand during these. I thought it was just solved with Baker. I really did. That was one I'm not going to take back what I said. Like, I felt it was time for a change. I didn't want to trade him for Deshaun Watson, or I didn't want to trade for Deshaun Watson. I was abundantly clear on that, and I'll continue to be abundantly clear on that. I just felt that they probably would have to go in a different direction. We might have to get a veteran in, and I felt that was probably going to be the beginning of the end for Kevin Stefanski. And ended up Kevin stayed, and I like Kevin. I like Kevin personally. I worry about the offense. I worry about some of the things they can't do. But yeah, I thought Baker was the guy. Was there a guy I ever try to talk myself into being the guy? No, I don't. I think there were a couple of guys I had fun with. Deshaun Kaiser, I really like Notre Dame guys. And then the second they drafted him and we started fighting about starting him. And I mean, I had people calling me every name of the book going, you guys are going to start him too soon. You're going to ruin him. Sure as hell, they started him way too soon. And they ruined him. And I think that they did the same. I mean, hell, hopefully they're not making the same mistake with Dylan Gabriel tomorrow. I hope not. Because it's like, well, because you remember when they took Kaiser, that was round 2 the year before they took Baker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is round 3 the year before they take QBX.
Yeah.
And this QB class, boy, I can make this a really long answer. I'm not going to. This QB class is way crazier than the 2018 class for a multitude of reasons. But it's like, all right, at least they tried to learn from the mistakes they made in 2017. Because I think there's so many times where they just go, if they can't do it here, then they can't do it there. And I think that so many times that their conclusions are drawn before they should really be drawn. But that said, Baker has said it before, and I agree with him. He didn't think it was going to work out here with the way he acted. And I think the Browns gave him too much power. He was too mature at the time. Now he's mature. Now he's more centered. He's more of a grown man. Kids and family will do that to you. And Tampa Bay's getting the best Baker. And we did not get the best Baker. Carolina did not get the best Baker.
No.
Los Angeles, I think it started to turn a little bit there, but they did not get the best Baker, and here he is. He's doing a fine job. I got nothing against him. I got absolutely nothing against him because I know for a fact, I know that, and we've discussed this a long time. I know that Jimmy really liked him, and I know that he wanted him to be the franchise guy, but at that time, it had become a situation where it basically become untenable, and they just went the wrong direction to replace him. That's all. I don't know what other direction they would have went. Because if they would have went and got a veteran and like say he would have started the next year, would he have been good enough to stave off the veteran? I'm not sure. But if he would have stayed, there's so many other ways I would have done it. There's just so many other ways I would have done. I wish I could have talked sense to him and go, guy, take a Jordan Love contract. Let's reevaluate this. Take this year. Get your shoulder fixed. Like I'm going to try to talk so much more sense in him. Stop acting like an idiot and getting mad because you weren't able to run it up against Detroit. These are professional defenses here, for crying out loud. That's not San Jose State over there. That's the type of things I wanted to tell him, but there was no getting through. And now I think he knows all this because he's been through it. Yeah. And so he's much better off. He's much better off. And hopefully someday we'll be in a better place for it. But the guys who were pro Baker the whole way, who did not give up the ship, congratulations to them, because they have certainly been rewarded, and the people down in Tampa have certainly been rewarded. So congratulations on all their success.
All right, if you could give one Cleveland Brown a redo on his career,
Joe
who would
Thomas.
you give it to? Joe Thomas?
Yeah.
Is it because he just had the shitty teams of all the time?
You know what? Take it back. Joel Bitonio. Joe is going to be a Hall of, because the reason I say this, I love Joe. Joe's going to be a Hall of Famer no matter what. Joel, had that team made the postseason and made actual runs, Joel will be a Hall of Famer. Joel will not be a Hall of Famer because his team did not have the postseason success. There's guys on. I didn't realize this when I was a kid, and I know some of the inner workings of this. There's people I know at the Hall of Fame, and they talk about it. Like the voters, I try not to bother the voters that much, like Mary Kay or Tony about it. But there are people who've, we're all in Canton. There's more than enough people who say like, hey, the team's got to do this for their player. There's certain guys that were able to get in just because, like, hey, like a coach from a great to like a Chuck Knoll or someone, I'll use him as an example. Like, hey, let's get this guy in, and then I ain't going to bother you guys anymore. This guy I think really deserves to be in, and then I'm not going to bother you guys anymore. It's like, all right, we'll let one more in from the 70s Steelers, like that type of thing. Joel might have been a guy who you wouldn't have to argue about, but he would have definitely been. He's an exceptional offensive lineman. He's been an exceptional player for this team, and he will just not get. I think it matters much more to me than it does to him because he's just that good of a guy. But he's just not going to get the true accolades that he deserves. I wouldn't put him in the John Hannah category, but I would put him in a Hall of Fame. I mean, John Hannah is probably the best guard to ever do it. He is not in John Hannah's category, but he's really, really, really good. And he should be a Hall of Famer, and he's not going to get that because the team wasn't good around him. And the times that they were good, it was fleeting. It was fleeting. Mm-hmm. It was years that people didn't think they were going to go to the playoffs. You have to play like there will be guys on the Kansas City Chiefs who go to the Hall of Fame someday, not Mahomes and Kelsey and Chris Jones. I mean, those guys, they're taken care of. They're fine. But you might find a guy in there in 20 years. You're going because they're able to make the argument, and that's a dynasty. And the voters love dynasties, and not that you had to win 3 Super Bowls to get Joel in the Hall of Fame, but damn, it'd have been nice to be playing in one to be able to make the argument, and we weren't able to do it. So if I could get anybody's career restarted, I think it'd have been Joel Bitonio's.
All right, what are some of your favorite events or festivals here in Cleveland?
Well, I'm going to go to the Woolly Bear tomorrow, which that's out in Vermilion. And then I love the Columbus Day festivities because I get to go with Lyman next week. Those are always fun. You get to see people every week. I get to go and be with the people on Mayfield Road. And it's just a nice time. It's a quick day. They make it a lot of fun. There's so many things that I got to tell you. I like Browns game days, and I'm trying to hold my tongue here because I've said what I've said on the air, and I think I've made my opinion abundantly clear about what the city government has done to shut down the West 6 tailgate.
Yeah,
I think everybody knows where I stand on that, and I think they've taken away a really fun thing. And they've taken away something that I really, really, really enjoyed because I still would like to have more remotes. I still want to I want to bring back Fan Bowl. I want to bring back a golf outing. I want to do those things. I want to do them the right way. And I know that my bosses do as well. I want to do those things, but that was a fun remote. And that was every week. And I do. People go, well, I do have friends, people that I get to see on a daily basis. And they have asked me if I ever get tired of meeting people. And I say, absolutely not. This is part of what comes with it, is getting to meet people. And and trying to I'm just always tickled that anybody notices or anybody listens or watches or anything like that. And I think that that's part of the job, because again, I'm just so aware that it could end at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And I will look back on it and I will be thankful that I made the most of the time, because there will be a time where I go to a high school football game and no one will care.
Mm-hmm.
And that's perfectly fine. But I will have my memory and not be bitter that, oh, no one's watching anymore. No, it's not like that. I got to do a lot more fun things than a lot of other people I grew up with got to do, and that's a blessing. And so I just enjoy it so much, and I'm so upset that they took that opportunity to meet people away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if I'm bitter about anything, I'm really, really bitter about that. And I've tried to I try not to be political in so many ways. And so I'll hold my tongue on that situation as best I can. But that really, as you can tell, that really bothered me. That really bothered me, because you only get so many chances to go out there and meet the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got robbed of that opportunity, and unfairly as well. Totally unfairly.
All right, Ken, you ready to get fat with Fatty?
Yeah, I was hoping that wasn't the end, because I was like, boy, what a downer to end it on.
No. Oh, God, no. No, this is our
All right.
rapid fire session. This is my favorite time now. What's your favorite restaurant in Cleveland?
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. You got to do it.
The Denny's on 150th.
I know that Denny's. I love that Denny's.
Actually, I go to that Cozumel a lot. On
yes.
150th. Boy, I think anything on Mayfield Road in Little Italy is great. I just feel bad because if I don't mention somebody, so I'm going to get a text from somebody like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, because I got put on the spot. So anything on Mayfield Road, I got Little Italy on the mind. I'm going to say La Dolce Vita.
Okay. If you ever get a chance to, have you ever been to Mama Catina's?
No.
It's off of Babbitt Road, right off of 90. If you get a chance and you love real Italian food, go there.
Are they open for lunch?
I believe so.
Babbitt Road. Okay. Would be over in Euclid, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm circling.
Hidden gem of Cleveland, whether it be a food, a bar, Metro Parks, hidden gem for you.
I love the VIP on Rocky River Drive in West Park. Unpaid testimonial. I like that. Tina's is a great place for karaoke. I think that's a real Clevelander type of place to go to. And then I like to drive through the gardens in University Circle and see some of that. I think there's so much. I think so many people just come to Playoff Square and they go downtown and that's it. There's like, man, this city is so big and there's so many places. And people like to go to the Solstice Steps. That's great, man. But I like to see some of the stuff on the east side. I like some of the old Cleveland stuff. That I just like the history of it. I think that's just so much more fun to me. And so, yeah, I like the garden area right there. I forget the road of it. It's not MLK. Is it East 72nd? I forget, but it's east side towards you on the way to University Circle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I love University Circle. Yeah.
All right, bud. What is your go-to game drink? Whether it be beer, tea, whatever.
Busch Light, Jack Daniels. Yeah, that's what it is.
Now, do you go with the camo can or do you?
I like the corn cans the best. Corn cans I love the corn cans. For some reason, I think it tastes better with the corn can. Yeah, sometimes I'm going, yeah, that's the ones with a fish. Every now, just because you see a fish, you go, when you're done. But I'm just like, okay. Like, it's got to be in my mind because I'm a weirdo. But yeah, I just, Busch Lights, whether it be a 16 ounce or a regular 12 ounce is fine. And Jack Daniels, that's what it is. Because I will have my friends that we went on vacation with. They're going to do mimosas and stuff like that for Ohio State, Michigan. They live out in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, if you want me to dump Bush Light and orange juice, I guess I will. I mean, we don't need to get champagne involved here. Well, no, Ken, you got. I was like, that's fine, whatever. I'm messing with you, but yeah, like I always like to throw like, yeah, Bush Lights are fine. I'm down
All
with
right.
it.
What's your go-to cigar? What's your favorite cigar?
I enjoy a Perdomo. That's where I treat myself. I got this thing, so I get the Cigar International email or the mailers, and boy, I was like, I got this bundle, and I mean, it said cheapies in the thing, and there's like 30 of these things. First off, they're all Churchills, so you're gonna smoke on this thing for an hour and a half, right? And then some of them, I'm like, I'm gonna dry it out a little bit. We're gonna get rid of that, but I'm still working my way through it. But Perdomos, the 10th anniversary one. There's the Champagne Gold one that I really like. I follow them on social media. It has, there's the American feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the opportunity. Sadly, I missed the opportunity for work to meet Nick Perdomo last year. He was in the area. But those are my favorites. I really got started on Punch. Those were, and then when I went, for whatever reason, when I went to Seattle, we went to that the pier where they shot, and I can't remember the name of the damn thing. It was awesome. It's like a fun house, but it's like shops, right?
Yeah.
And they have a cigar store in there. And I bought my first I'm just simple Stark County guy. So Davidoff, I think it's Davidoff.
Okay.
But give me one of them Davidoff things. I mean, here, this thing is like this long and that thin. It wasn't a cigarello, but it was small. And I mean, you're talking $24 just for that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, who the hell smokes these things? Who smokes these things? And I am not a hobbyist in so many ways because hobbies cost me money. I'm very cheap when it comes to myself. Like I don't believe in tipping low. Anything that makes you look like a cheap ass publicly, I'm not going to do. Okay. Yeah. But when it comes to myself, it's Busch Light, I get myself Jack Daniels on special occasions, holidays. I will admit ratings books, which, God, that sounds so a-holish, but it's true. I will do that. But usually it's like Canadian Club, which is a step up because I used to get Black Velvet, and I finally got to the point I'm like, man, it's starting to give me – I think I'm starting to get ulcers. Like that type of thing. So, like, usually it's Canadian Club, but, like, I don't like big, expensive cigars. I'm just like, I don't know who smokes these things all the time. Because during the summertime, I'll have – especially, like, if I have a week off, I'll smoke a cigar a day, sometimes two. Okay? And – I'm not gonna burn through. Like I see some of these things, I go, "Who's spending $300 on packs of cigars?" You look at some of the prices, I go, "What is this? What is this?" Because I know it's a luxury item in so many ways that I feel bad. I'm like, "Oh God, I took a luxury item." A guy who's got small kids taking a luxury item over there. Look at you.
Yeah.
I feel guilty doing it.
That's why I just stick to my acid cigars. That's it.
Yeah,
you give me a Cuba, I'm good.
Yeah. Anything that's and I've had, God bless them, I've had guys who've brought me cigars at tailgates, and I mean I want them to know, like I got a guy named Nate Reed who is a listener. He lives a couple towns over. He's a great guy. I shouldn't have said his whole name, but I did. The hell with it. Great guy. I mean, the listeners got to know, guys who have given me cigars, I treat them like you have given me the Holy Grail. Like I sit there, like I've had guys, I got this small humidor I got for officiating my buddy's wedding that I still have, and I'm looking at it right now. And I got buddies like, "Hey, you smoke that cigar yet?" I go, "Nope." And I think Nate was like, "Why didn't you smoke the cigar?" I go, "I'm waiting for the right time. It's a nice cigar, and I'm not just going to smoke it after the Browns got smoked 30-0. That's not going to happen." But like when they beat the Cowboys that one night or that one day, and they went out and Odell Beckham Jr.'s throwing touchdown passes and catching them and running for him, and I know they had to hold on to the end. I'm like, you know what? No better time than for this one than right now. Like that's what I'm going to enjoy them because they're gifts, and I look at everyone like they gave. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you spent $100 on me on this thing, which I'm sure it was $8.99 or whatever. But that's the way I treat it because I'm like, these are cigars to me are really expensive.
All right. So this is a running question on this show, and it's been my question that I've asked everybody. You're going to the ballpark. All right. You're going to do original stadium mustard or Burtman's mustard.
Oh, original stadium.
Okay. Just
Well,
gotta
wait
make
a
sure
minute, wait a minute.
because
What's the one they serve in the stadium?
I think it's original stadium mustard.
Yeah, stadium mustard. Yeah, I have a stadium mustard shirt.
Yeah, we they support us here.
You got a
at Network
stadium
News.
mustard shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love their
Oh, that's
mustard.
good. Yeah, no, my I had a sales guy, Derek, Dustin Cook, who he brought in a bunch of stuff, and I had that was a couple years ago, but I've always liked the stadium mustard. Every now and then, my poor wife, I'd like get me brown mustard, and she was getting Dijon's, and I'm going, that's not brown mustard. That's like a
You want the
different
Goldens.
Yeah, I go, okay, I'll just, you know what? I'll just buy it in the Walmart cart, and that'll do. Sometimes you just got to do things yourself. God bless her.
All right. What's the best city on the east side and on the west side?
Well, I used to live in North Ridgeville, so I'm gonna say North Ridgeville. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. Man, east side? How far east?
It's up to you. It's up to you. Because I consider everything burbs around here. So everything's Cleveland, I
Well,
believe.
then I'm gonna say the fine folks in Berkshire or in Burton, Ohio, where
Okay.
Berkshire High School's at. Because they had me as their grand marshal for their Christmas parade. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it this year, and I haven't told them yet because we got to get our rods and cones figured out with my family because it's always they have it on Black Friday. They have a Black Friday every year, and it's I love it. I love it. You go there and they got this restaurant, JC's restaurant, and they have the best fish and mashed potatoes you could ever have. They have the fish and chips, but the fish is fantastic. And then they have this parade that goes around the circle in town in Burton, Ohio. And Jared, it's beautiful. It's like a Hallmark movie. And it's been frigid cold. Last 2 years, for whatever reason, Black Friday, frigid cold. And you're not even bothered by it. And it's this main street, and everybody claps. So I take me, my 3 sons, my wife, and then we have our 2 friends and their son, which is my godson. He hates me, but that's a different story for a different day. He's 5. I think he hates me just because I'm loud and I actually discipline my sons, but that's a different story. So we go there and you eat, and then you go and you meet Santa Claus, and Santa Claus there is in this old in this old cabin. And he's always got these jokes, and he's used the same joke the last couple of years. And then he gives them Hot Wheels cars, and they get their picture with Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus is there, and she's wonderful. And you buy maple candy and stuff like that. And then you go and get in the parade. You go in the parade, and then everybody's got their hot chocolate stuff. They turn on the light, and everybody claps. It's like a Hallmark. We went over to Benson's Trees. It's like I'm doing an ad for Burton, Ohio. I might as well be like the visitor center for Burton, Ohio. You got this Benson's Trees place, which is right there, and the families is so nice. They're so nice. I still got the hat I had from a couple years ago, and then they got the Geauga County Fairgrounds just down the road there, and so they got the lights that you drive through, and the Geauga County Fairgrounds, and boy, it's just a great way to start the holiday season. And so I'm sorry, guys, until I get invited to go to another one of these great parades, it's got to be them. I mean, it really is. I feel Candace Cameron Bure is about to show up out of nowhere and start talking to me because it's just a wonderful, wonderful time.
All right, bud. What is your underrated city here in Cleveland?
Underrated?
Yes.
Holy potatoes. Huh. Underrated. There's so many that are so nice every time I go rolling up. Like when we have Friday Night Touchdown. Mayfield's awesome. I like Mayfield. You know who's always really nice? North Royalton. I like North Royalton. And I'm telling you right now, for whatever reason, I love Streetsboro, and I don't think I'd leave. But we looked when we went to move because we wanted to move from Ridgeville. God bless Ridgeville. But we wanted to move from Ridgeville closer to my in-laws in Canfield.
Mm-hmm.
And so we chopped it down from an hour and 40 minutes to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we live, in Portage County. And we looked in Chardon. We looked in Chagrin Falls, Bainbridge, really.
I don't have my keys.
Yeah. we got new people watch on YouTube. They go, why they shake their keys? I'm like, oh, great. We got new people coming in. That's great. Bainbridge, Chardon, Kirtland. Love Kirtland. A couple other places. And for whatever reason, we never looked at North Royalton. And then I got the job at 8. And boy, I tell you what, it's like, boy, if I would have lived in Royalton at the time, right back and forth, it's not that far of a drive. So there are a couple times where you go back home on a Friday night, and you're like, I just want to get home. My God, it's just turning 7. You're coming down the highway. That takes a little bit long, but we love it. Yeah, but I would say those 2 towns are underrated. I like Mayfield. I like the people in Mayfield. They're nice.
All right, the last question of the show, and I asked this because at the beginning I told you I'm a transplant. I'm from Coshocton, Ohio. My wife is from a small town in West by God, Virginia. We are raising our kids, our family here. What does Cleveland mean to you?
Oh, still a city of dreams. Still a city of dreams. I think that the people that defend Cleveland understand what Cleveland can do for them and what the area has done for them and can still do for their family. I have been able to live a lifestyle I never thought I would live, and my father never thought I would live right here. And my family has been here. Carmans have been here for nearly 400 years. 1631. My grandmother did the lineage years ago. And this is before 23andMe and Ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm.
She had to fly out to San Francisco to get this done. And it was crazy. And we've been here since 1631. And I'm a generation still away. My father graduated high school, went to Stark State, a 2-year. Mm-hmm. But my cousin Jimmy and I are the first Carmans to graduate college, I want to say. So you go 300 some odd years. And my grandfather, who had a speech impediment, had to leave school in 7th grade because of the Depression. He looked at Cleveland like it was New York, Paris, London. I mean, and when he was a formidable man, Cleveland was still one of the biggest cities in the world. And that was a place that had one of the biggest buildings in the world. And so that thought of Cleveland never left him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a cousin who does very, very well, and I'm very proud of him. My cousin Jimmy. I'm very proud of Jimmy and what he has done, and his sons and his wife, and I'm very proud of them. And I could talk all day about his accomplishments and what he's done. But it was weird. My grandfather thought it was a way bigger deal when I got the job at the Fan. And I'm like, because it was, Jimmy is in Canton, and Jimmy does a lot more good in the community than I do. Hell, but I should have said it like that, but it's true. And I wasn't nearly as good of a kid or nearly as smart as my cousin. But my grandfather thought it was the biggest thing in the world that I work in Cleveland. And I've never forgotten that. And my grandfather passed about a year after I got the job at the Fan. So he got to know a little bit of it. But I think he'd be over the moon about me working at the Fan and having the job at Fox 8, because this was still the biggest thing going to him. Mm-hmm. So I just think about that all the time. I know we have problems like a lot of cities. I know that. And I know that I'm not the biggest fan of the current ways and things and how some things have been done. But just because I am at times angry or even bitter over it doesn't mean that my feelings of the city have changed. Again, my family has lived. My son has got to do a lot of things that I was not able to do when I was his age, and it's been because of the people here, and that I have not forgotten. And I think if I do forget something like that, that's going to be a real bad day for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be real sad too. It'd be real sad. It'd be real sad to lose my way. So that's how I feel about Cleveland. It is a place that is still great. It can be better, and it will hopefully get better as long as people who love it continue to work at it. But it's a place that's still great, that special things happen in it.
Ken, I can't thank you enough, bud. I love you. I listen to you every morning at the golf course. Sometimes I chime in when I can. Other times I just sit there and laugh, especially when somebody peed in Anthony's Cheerios one morning.
Well, I got to tell, I'm just glad you were patient with me. And I'm glad we ended up doing this on a Saturday than in the middle of the day on a Friday, because usually Friday's like my blacked out days where I'm as busy as it gets. And I'm like, yeah, I've had a good time here. This has been a good time.
No, this is why I do this, is just to showcase Cleveland, showcase the wonderful people here. And Bud, seriously, I can't thank you enough for joining. Is there anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here and end the show?
I hope everybody has a wonderful fall. I hope everybody has a wonderful Halloween season, and all the very best for the holidays. And that's all I got to say to everybody.
All right,
Thanks so much for having me.
Not a problem. Stick around here for just a second. I'm going to close out the show, Bud. Thank you so much. This is your latest installment of 216 Show with special guest Ken Carman. Thank you. See you guys next time.